Hi there, Zach Villarreal here, and I'm going to talk to you today about my passion project, which is strategies for increasing English language learners' participation in the classroom. I just want to start by saying that as engaged educators, it is our heartprint to find our purpose and joy by making a difference for all of our students. In particular, for our ELL students, we can do this by putting in place an action plan that has consistency and continuity across classrooms with strategies for increasing ELL participation. By doing this, we're evoking collective efficacy across our school-wide teams and PLCs to best enrich their learning experience. And this will translate also to building their self-efficacy, their confidence, and intrinsically motivate them to want to succeed. When they get to this point of intrinsically being motivated to engage in their lessons, we're also helping transition them out of that fixed mindset where they're oftentimes discouraged and not wanting to participate into a growth mindset where they're saying, hey, I recognize this is challenging, but I know I can do it because all my teachers are consistently communicating a high belief in me, and that is supporting me and making me feel like I can do this. That can make such a difference in our students' learning. And I just want to say also that this is an area that I really struggled with during my first season of teaching, trying to reach my ELL students. So this is something that I really feel passionate about and wanted to focus on for my passion project. And I'm looking forward to putting into place as a teacher leader entering my second season of teaching. I'm really excited to share strategies with my PLC and my school-wide teams. First off, I want to talk about who our ELL students are, our English language learners. These are students who typically come from non-English speaking homes and backgrounds, and they usually require additional resources outside of the classroom, modified instruction. They struggle to communicate fluently or learn in English effectively. One intriguing stat I really want to point out is the largest achievement gap in Minnesota lies between identified ELL students and non-identified ELL students. This just shows how crucial it is for us as engaged educators to be intentional about putting an action plan in place to help increase these students' participation. I want to talk about academic language because this is something that I think plays a large role in hindering ELL students or causing their disengagement. It's important for us to teach academic language explicitly so that they can understand the identified language demands for a given activity. It's also super crucial because academic language varies across each classroom. Analyze or synthesize or evaluate might look different across content areas. So it's super important that as teachers, we're being consistent with how we're teaching academic language. Without understanding academic language, it is very difficult for our ELL students to be successful in school. And again, this is where we can help pull them from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset. So I'm going to share some strategies with you for how to increase ELL participation. It is as follows: talk, read, talk, and then write. This is starting with the end in mind, which is very similar to Dr. Convey's start with the end in mind. We are scaffolding activities to get the ELL students to eventually write, which is usually very difficult for them. We want to start by talking, a short 2 to 5 minute small group discussion to build background knowledge. Then we want to read. We want to dive into our text, our engaged learning activity to meet the content objectives for the lesson. Then we want to talk again. And this talk again is a more structured and a higher level discussion. And then eventually write. So for the first talk, you want to have strategies in place to create a safe and positive learning environment. One strategy that is great for this is a gallery walk. This is where the teacher puts either posters or signs around the room with concepts, ideas, or questions, and students can respond to these questions with their peers. As we know, learning from your peers can really enrich student participation and help them learn better by seeing things from another perspective. Anticipation guides are also great for increasing ELL participation because these are open-ended and thought-provoking questions that students will use to help guide their discussion. They might also go on a little rabbit trail, which is okay, but at least we're getting them thinking and discussing the topics in a meaningful way. Next, we're going to read or dive into our actual engaged activity. This is a strategy called Teach the Text Backwards. And in this strategy, you want to ask the comprehension questions that you would normally ask before the reading. You want to do this because it helps our ELL students build confidence and intrinsically motivates them to engage with text because they know what information to look for beforehand. Graphic Organizer is a great tool for note-taking alongside your reading. This is helping the students to interact with their reading on a much more thorough level than just following along. It's also a visual display that helps students understand relationships, differences, and ideas. It can also be a great resource and tool for their end product or their summative assessment. You then want to bring everyone together and talk again. This is a much higher level discussion and more structured. Speaking stems are a great way to do this. It gives students a chance to be vulnerable and use academic language correctly by having sentence starters and conversation starters. This is a scaffolded activity designed to help students talk about what they just learned in a productive and efficient manner. It also helps create that positive and safe learning space so that they can be vulnerable so that learning can happen. Envelope questions are also a great way to get the students talking. This is kind of like a mini fishbowl or Socratic seminar setting. Students simply pull questions out of an envelope and give every student a chance to voice their opinion and respond to the question that the teacher has prepared in the envelope beforehand. It's important to keep this as a timed activity and make sure everyone gets a chance to share. Lastly, when you get to the writing process, you want to use mentor text and live writing. Mentor texts are strong work examples of what the end product should look like alongside the rubric. Students can then see this and help build their confidence and understanding of what is expected. Live writing is a process used by Kelly Gallagher, which is communicated for the teacher to write in front of the class collaboratively and write down their ideas and showcase the writing process. This is a chance for students to see the teacher make mistakes and see them be vulnerable, and they can see that making mistakes just leads to further learning. It increases participation through collaborative efforts and scaffolding the writing process. Thank you so much for listening to my video.